the movie Sinners asks, what happens if the devil knows the words to all your prayers? And what happens if both you and your enemy pray to the same God, and he seems to serve one of you more often than the other? Now what? And what is morality in a world like that? That moment when Sammy and Remick are praying together in unison and don't other people join in proves that the prayer, the words that Sammy is trying to use to rebuke against this vampire, guess what? It's part of his life's blood. He knows the words. It brings him comfort. I love when we're bringing like magical realism and slight fantasy into real life racism, real evil meets fake evil. And we see the absurdities side by side, and it begins to question the morality of, well, how evil is it to be a vampire to a KKK member when the KKK members were real life murderers to real life people, and then we're combating that with fantasy? And there is a little bit of absurdity in that. And I do always wonder like how white people watch these films, because when they start to see things like vampirism and magical things with racism, I do wonder if there's some sort of glamour that goes over the whole thing to make it glossy and untouchable and irrelevant to them. And, oh, this is the 1932s in Mississippi and there's vampires and racism and all of it is fake and not our problem. But for the sake of entertainment, it's worth it. So that's not the point of this video. But I do think it's so interesting that one of the best ways I think that Black people can make their point in filmmaking and TV making is sometimes by like putting these different mysticisms and like folklore next to like real life shit and ancestors, and cutting off ties to your ancestors and saying, yeah, when you die as a vampire, you get cut off from all your ancestry, so we don't want to die as vampires, and make sure to kill me with the stakes so that I can be with my ancestors. And the music connecting the ancestors. But what, oh my God, okay. And again, I just got back from seeing this movie. I think I'm gonna have revelations about this movie for the next week, and I wanna see it again, because what's coming to me right now is like, think about Sammy, right? And I didn't say this yet, I just read Blues for Mr. Charlie for book club. Shout out book club, love you guys. There's some insane parallels between, the city boys coming back to the small town from the big city and having big city attitude, and it not going well with the white old men of the town who are like, yeah, we don't talk like that around here. And they're disrupted by the northern Black man nature and the sort of like more stature that they carry coming from the north back to the south when they've left the south. Sammy's music is what attracts these vampires. The thing that connects him to the culture of his ancestors and his descendants is also the things that draw the toxic moth to the flame. You know what I mean? And there's so much of a metaphor in that I think that's going to have to be its whole other video. There's so much in this, from the tragic mulatto Haley Steinfeld of it all. And like, that is such a specific nuance that I cannot think of another character that has been so specifically what's not a quadroon, but an octoroon. I'm making that up. Is that what it's called? Octopoon? Octodoon? I have no idea. And now this is math. I don't know. But is she not actually like 25% in real life, Haley Steinfeld? So for her to be cast as somebody who's meant to be like very sliverly Black is so hilarious to me, but also awesome in the fact that she was also the symbolism of, I'm going to be the one to level. I'm going to be the undercover. And that's what sort of knocks one of the dominoes down, but also the Irish of it all. And you know what? Like, I can't separate this from how people say, like, Irish people are the Black people of white people, you know what I mean? And then when homie's speaking in tongues and they're out there Irish dancing, which I used to do Irish dancing, by the way, and there's a video of me doing Irish dancing on stage and talking when I was 6. Anyways, and you have the different cultures, like, contrasting, you have the Irish culture outside, like, Irish dancing, and they're having their own little thing. And then inside, but also, Remick was attracted to Sammy because he's able to connect. Oh, this is going to be a whole other video. But Remick is connected or wanting to connect with Sammy because Sammy has the ability to connect Remick with his other ancestors. And to me, that's a metaphor for Black people's culture, music, everything, being such a connector, even for white people, to other white people through music and culture, through hip hop dance, through concerts, through clubs. and this is just my initial, I just got home from seeing the movie. But one of the best movies I've ever seen for sure in regards to cultural relevance mixed with obviously like literal, very just pure entertainment, comedy, message, theme, aesthetics, thriller, love. Apparently, Remic's first scene where he lands and it looks like he's landing from the sky and he starts running is meant to mirror a fallen angel. When you think of a fallen angel who also is symbolizing death and the devil, you obviously think of, like, you know, Morning Star, like the OG fallen angel of, I used to know all this shit, I used to run this shit, I used to do this shit, and then I fell from grace, but I still know all the tricks and I know the words to your prayer, motherfucker. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it gives to me. When you see him like land and start running, which it's such an epic, I actually really like him as a character. Like, I like him more than the KKK members. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what's interesting about movies and shows like this, is that it's absurd because there's fake evil and real evil, and you will like the villains of the fake things that you haven't seen happen in real life more than the villains of the real things, even though the villain of the fake things has killed more people with his teeth in a more grotesque way, but that is meant to be fantasy and the other one is so real, and that's what makes things absurd. But I also do think that might be what makes white people not take racism as seriously as they could, because it's paired with magical realism. So I'm not sure they understand what's fiction and what's real, but that's a different conversation for a different day. As somebody who was obsessed with Fallen Angel, and this is a special interest that I've not gone into, I was obsessed with Fallen Angel lore books in high school. That Fallen series. Think about the Chows. They existed between two streets, white side, black side, purgatory, crossing in between. It's like, I literally just read Blues for Mr. Charlie by James Baldwin, so all of this whole like southern, going back to the southern place that you left as a northern black man, and you feel like you have this extra confidence and you try to bring it back to your southern town, but then you die because of a KKK member, or like, I can't even process this right now. I can't even process all of it right now.